Your team's gone from scoring so many goals in matches to not being able to get a shot on target. Can you pinpoint exactly why that is?
Yeah, I think that in the last two games we struggle offensively because we found two teams that they were very good defensively. Without the ball, these two teams defended very deep with the whole team, with the whole players. And when you find this type of situation, and you have to try to create the space and also to have players to beat the man in what we want to create the superiority. I think in this aspect we are working, because this week after the game against Brighton we worked in this aspect to try to have a training, and to find 10 players be behind the ball. I think that at the end this a consequence when you score many goals and you start become a dangerous team, and the opponent try to pay more attention, try to have more balance when face you. And I think today we wanted to get 3 points, but the draw was fair, and we have to accept this result, and to try to continue to work and to improve in the situation that we can improve.
Does it frustrate you though that you've clearly worked so hard on that in training, but not being able to replicate it in the game?
But no, I think not frustration, because I know very well that to play this type of game is not easy, for the atmosphere, for the intensity, for the opponent, because the opponent played with a great intensity and I repeat, this is a consequence when you start to climb the mountain, to go up, and for sure the difficulty start to become more and more, and we have to try to face this new challenge, because maybe in the past many teams played against us not with superficiality, but undervaluated us. Now they pay more attention, and but in one end I'm happy, because defensively we were good. Also to defend set pieces against this team was difficult. On the other hand, I know that we have to try to improve, and to try to create more chances to score, because if you want to get 3 points, if you want to win, you have to score.
Antonio, you mentioned there about teams knowing how dangerous you are attacking-wise. They also know what system you're going to play, because it's a system that you're known to favour. Is that something you consider tweaking with, or are you very much going to stick to the back three and the 3-4-3?
If you see in the last 2 games, and I consider our work, our system good defensively, because we didn't consider goal, and but in the last 2 games, and we were a bit poor offensively. But I think it's not the problem and the system, because it depends on the way that you attack. Because if you bring Davis and to play and go, and Kuti less, for characteristic, but I think we have to try to find the right balance offensively and defensively. And before we considered in games goals, we considered more goals, and but we scored a lot. Now defensively we were better, but in the last 2 games, I repeat, in my opinion, because especially we played against the 2 teams that they had great attention. They had great attention, and they played a really good game defensively.
Antonio, Christian Eriksen had a fantastic performance, showed what a great player he is. Do you think he's the kind of player, the kind of playmaker that Tottenham could be doing with to unlock defences in games like this where it's hard to break that defense?
But first of all, I was pleased to see Christian and to play in this way. And you know very well to speak now about transfer market, about players that are not in my team. I think that is a lack of respect for the team that the player is playing, for the players same, and also for my players. And for sure I worked with him 2 years in Inter Milan. I enjoyed this, and I'm very happy to see him in this fantastic form. And because don't forget that only 8 months ago what happened, no? And now I'm pleased to see Christian to play football in this type of level. Yeah.
Do you think he's playing at the same level, Antonio, that he was when you were with him at Inter Milan? Is he playing at the same level? What's your opinion of that?
But my opinion that for sure Christian is showing great joy, great joy to play football. And I think when happen this type of situation, and when you risk to finish to play football, to play with your passion, and to have another opportunity, I think now, and he's enjoying totally.
Antonio, you mentioned there about your offensively going forward. We know that Sessegnon and Emerson didn't have the best game today. So how important do you feel, especially for your system, that you have top wing backs?
Yeah, but now I repeat, it's not fair. It's not fair to speak about situation that we can improve or not. I think that I'm very happy to have this group of players, and I'm trying to exploit every single player, and I'm trying to improve every single player. And I think also for this reason that today, with the 5 games to play, we are talking about that Tottenham is in the race for a Champions League. Don't forget in November, because the people has not to forget in November the big trouble that Tottenham was. Now to stay with 5 games to go, the possibility to stay in this race, it means that the players improved a lot, and we are doing I think a great job. But we have to know that in this last month, if before we gave 120%, maybe it's not enough. We have to try to go and to increase and to go in 150% to try to reach this target.
You mentioned there earlier about trying to get that Champions League spot. Obviously today you need to get a win today. Do you feel like you could have brought on Bergwijn to get that attacking edge to maybe get a goal?
Yeah, I think that during the game you have to try to have always a good balance. I tried to today with the first substitution because we were suffering a lot in free kick, set pieces, throw in, and to put Sanchez and to move Davis as wing back. And then I moved to try to be more offensive. I moved Kulusevski as wing back and for Lucas Moura. But don't forget that if we want, sometimes the most important thing that you have to continue to have a good balance, because otherwise, if we want to go only to win, many times you risk to lose the game. Yeah.
Hi, Antonio.
Last one, please.
Thank you. Question on Brentford. I think you mentioned it there, but they've got a lot of throw-ins, corners, free kicks. They do lots of different things with it. What's it like trying to work out a plan about how to stop that? Because I think both times they hit the woodwork came from a corner or free kick.
Yeah, but when you go to study, your opponent, and you go to study Brentford, and you know very, very well the risk that they have during set pieces and corner throw-in. In every situation, they are very, very dangerous. And for sure, in this week, we worked to try to stop them. But despite this, they were very dangerous at the same time. And it's not simple. It's not easy to play against against Brentford. Also because they have a good idea of football, a good manager, good players, and they are doing a fantastic season.
Cool. Thank you very much. Thank you.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another morning show, or should I say afternoon show now. It is 20 past 12. Obviously, we did draw 0-0 with Brentford yesterday. Me and my brother were there at the game. Yeah, let's just get straight into the match preview. And you got to say, the highlight of the day was definitely seeing Eriksen. There was nothing on show on that football pitch that can convince us we are going to go and get that top 4 spot. It was a terrible game from start to finish from Tottenham, to be honest. It was just like a serious lack of pace in the game, a serious lack of movement, and a serious lack of ideas, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we spent pretty much the whole game defending set pieces from Brentford. That's what it seemed. Pretty much the whole game, they were putting pressure on Spurs. They were the ones trying to get in behind, getting the ball early into Mbeumo and Ivan Toney. Eriksen was, as he does, dictating the play beautifully. I thought he was playing some brilliant long range and short range passing. We really struggled to deal with him throughout the game, to be honest. And considering we knew the threat Brentford posed from set pieces, it is a minor miracle we didn't concede from one, because they hit the bar, they hit the post late on, Harry Kane cleared one off the line, Ivan Toney had 2 back post volleys completely unmarked in consecutive corners, which was unbelievable. We got away with one from set pieces, that's for sure.
How many times in that first half we could see it? We were right next to that goal. We were saying, mark that guy on the back post.
And like, Toney there, star striker.
But it was like
you know
like 2 or 3 times they got corner after corner after corner, and we just kept leaving that guy, Ivan Toney, at the back post completely free, and he was going for him every time.
There's one thing leaving a player at the back post. There's another thing leaving Ivan Toney at the back post. Do you know what I mean? What are you doing? I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing for those corners. From that point of view, throw-ins as well. I think we dealt with the throw-ins pretty comfortably, but the corners we definitely struggled with. And considering how strong they are, we just kept giving them free corners. Like we didn't. I felt like it was. I get it. Safety first and all kind of stuff, but I felt like any pressure we were under put out for a corner. But sometimes you got to be smart, because that's where the real danger was. I thought from open play Brentford didn't have too much to trouble us. I think we actually dealt with them defensively from open play fairly comfortably. I think we defended fairly well from that point of view. But when it came to giving them set pieces, that's where we definitely struggled, and we were lucky we didn't concede. And from our point of view going forward, first half we had next to nothing. Literally, you're talking, like Kane had that miscue chip. I mean, I can't remember too much else we had in that first half. We had a few corners of ourselves, which you didn't look threatening from, really, did we? Sorry. Throughout that first half. And we went into half-time. I wouldn't say lucky to be level, but we definitely weren't really creating anything, and it was a big worry. And especially back off the game against Brighton, you're thinking, surely you want to show reaction to that performance, and it wasn't there at all. Second half came. We had a pretty quick start. I thought for the first 20 minutes of the first half, we started with a bit of intent. We were playing the ball a lot quicker. We had that moment fairly early in the second half where we had 3 shots blocked in the box, didn't we? Emerson was getting forward fairly well. He actually found Kane in the box, and we looked like we were gonna, forcing the issue a bit. But then that didn't last. And after about, I would say, the hour mark, 65 minutes, Brentford again grew back in the game, started again to get a lot of the set pieces. And we didn't quite get our foothold back in the game up until maybe there was maybe a 5-minute period. I thought it was just after we brought on, actually, to be fair, it was just after we brought on Sanchez, which we'll talk about in a minute, why we did that sub. But we brought on Sanchez, and actually we did kind of push a bit further up the pitch. Davis got a few clear runs on the left-hand side, but no quality. And Son was getting in a few good spaces, but he wasn't able to get across to find anyone in the box. And then it was weird. For the last 5 minutes of the game, including stoppage time, it was all Brentford. They hit the post. They were the ones forcing the issue. And it seemed like Tottenham lost their urgency. We were kind of just playing it around the back, taking our time over goal kicks and things like that. It seemed like we were just settling for a point, which was a bit annoying. And ultimately, it was a frustrating result at the end of the day. But I feel like after last week, maybe the words of Conte saying, if you can't win, don't lose, the players were taking that to heart, and we didn't. I felt like for the last few minutes of the game, you expecting last few minutes when we need a goal, get everyone up the pitch, Lloris to go long, try and make something happen, get it to Kane, who actually won a few headers when we got it to him, try and get the ball in the box as quickly as possible. We didn't. We were taking our time over goal kicks. We were playing it short. We were just there wasn't a real sense of urgency. We didn't have everyone in Brentford's half. It was like everyone was back in their normal positions, and ultimately, that was very, very frustrating. Frustrating result, frustrating performance.
Yeah, it really was, and it was basically, so many similarities in our performance to the Brighton game. So many similarities to the first half against Aston Villa as well. We just looked devoid of ideas, completely devoid of ideas. Second game in a row now, Kulusevski's pretty much not impacted the game whatsoever. Harry Kane has been completely been marked out of the game the last couple of games. That he hasn't been able to find a way around that. The midfield has been completely overrun and overloaded. And they force us out to our wing-backs, and our wing-backs cannot do anything. Emerson putting in carbon copy displays week in, week out, where defensively he looks okay. Going forward, he offers absolutely nothing. On the other side, Sessegnon pretty much offered what Reguilon was offering last week, which was little next to nothing. Yeah. And the only shining light in our team yesterday was Romero, in my opinion. I thought Romero had a good game, but apart from that, there was nothing to shout about yesterday.
Yeah, it was really disappointing, and the fact as well. Conte's coming for a bit of criticism as well after yesterday because of the lack of proactivity in changing either formation or personnel, waiting until the last 15 minutes to change the game, and then the change he does is Davinson Sanchez for Ryan Sessegnon, which was a very odd change to make at that kind of a game when we're looking for a goal. He justified it in his press conference saying, I felt like we needed an extra body for height, for set pieces and stuff in case we conceded. But it's almost like with 15 minutes to go, he's thinking about not conceding rather than scoring. Then we waited till 5 minutes to go to bring on Lucas Moura, and it nearly paid off because he was in on goal, and then he was obviously hacked down, wasn't he? It was rugby tackled just outside the box when that would have been a very promising opportunity. But you bring him on a lot longer. Maybe he has a couple of those moments instead of just one. And that's ultimately very frustrating. Bergwijn doesn't see a minute.
What does he have to do to get some minutes on the pitch? I don't get it. Look, at the end of the day, I back Conte and his decisions, but I just don't understand it. Yeah. I don't understand what Bergwijn needs to do, because ever since Conte has come in, Bergwijn has looked threatening every time he's been on the pitch. Yeah. And in the past couple of weeks, especially the last few games, he's limited to minutes here, minutes there, and yesterday, not even 1 minute.
Yeah, he came on against Newcastle, we got a goal. That wasn't so long ago. And since then, He came on against Villa for the last 10 minutes or so, and he was looking quite threatening in that game. He then came on against Brighton, and he had a chance. I know he missed the chance, but he was actually there to try and do something in the last few minutes against Brighton after we conceded, and we nearly got an equaliser. So it almost seems like in the last few minutes of games, when he comes on, at least he makes things happen. He tries to get shots on goal. He tries to make an impact. Which is a lot more than I would say Lucas Moura does when he comes on, to be honest. We don't really see him having shots on goal and stuff when he's coming on. So I don't understand why we're chasing a goal. We need it's 0-0. We only need one goal. We need one moment. We've already seen what an impact Bergwijn can make off the bench. Even if it means going two up top, stick him up top with Kane and put Son out wide or something, and try and see if it makes a change. But he didn't. We only made the two subs, and he said he wanted to find the right balance between attack and defence, and that's why he made the decision. But it just seems odd to me that maybe it's him being stubborn or with the formation or something. But it seems odd that we needed just one moment to change the game, and we don't bring an impact sub on who gives us our best chance to do that. And that was very disappointing for me. And obviously he's going to come under criticism for not making that change. It doesn't make much sense to me. Also, if you're gonna put Sanchez there, you might as well put Reguilon at left wing back. You might as well make a double sub, because having Davis at left wing back the quality just wasn't there when he was able to get forward. It was and obviously Reguilon has that bit more pace about him than Reguilon is, and with tired legs he can stretch people. The one thing I would say about
at least Reguilon can run fast in straight lines.
Exactly. The only thing, the one positive I would say about Sessegnon, in the very few positives there were, is at least he was looking to take people on, which is more I could say for Emerson and Reguilon and Davis when they're in that position. He was trying to take people on. He wasn't very successful at it, but at least he was trying. I feel like Reguilon doesn't even bother taking people on a lot of the time. He just kind of, if he can't run in a straight line, he'll just pass it back or something. But at least when Sessegnon got the ball, he was looking to manoeuvre the space. In the first half, there were a few opportunities. He got into the byline and got a few crosses in and won a few corners. But second half, there was just a lack of quality again with his final ball. A lot of the times it was just going straight out of play or hitting the first man. Wasn't able to shake off the Burnley wing back. And that was a source of frustration. And I think, the wing backs are a massive issue at the moment. I actually thought Kulusevski moved to wing back. I thought he looked a bit better there. I know it was only a small sample size, but he was actually able to cause a few more problems because he was able to find a bit of space. Because they were occupied by Lucas, Kulusevski actually had a bit of space to cut inside and swing a few crosses in. No shots, but at least he was able to make Brentford think a bit more about what they were doing at the back. Emerson made it easy for them.
Yeah, it's so true. And like a lot of fans I'm seeing around social media blaming Conte for not having a plan B and stuff like that, which is a fair point. But at the end of the day, what else can we do? What else can we do? Because we can't put an extra man in midfield unless we play Harry Winks, and hardly anyone wants to see that. We can't change the wing-backs really much. Sessegnon and Reguilon are pretty much like for like. Can't really tell you who's better than the other one. On the right-hand side, we've got Emerson and Doherty obviously out for the rest of the season. So, I mean, what can we do as a plan B? What can we do to change it up for next game? How do we get out of this kind of rut that we're in?
It's difficult because
there's a clear blueprint how to beat Spurs right now. You man-mark Kane out of the game. I know that, but it feels like a loss right now. But when you're looking at the last two games, not one shot on target, 0-0 against Brentford, 1-0 loss against Brighton, that first half against Villa where we got lucky that we didn't concede a hatful of goals in that half. I mean, there's a clear blueprint. You pressure us high up the pitch, man-mark Kane out of the game, and overload the midfield, and just leave our wing-backs to it.
I don't think it was necessarily them just pressing us high up the pitch all the time. They did from goal kicks, but I actually felt, especially in the second half, they were having all men were behind the ball, and that's where we really struggled to break them down. And Conte said in his press conference that during the week they were spending a lot of time during the week just trying to train on breaking down low blocks and trying to break down men behind the ball. Yet when it came to the game, we weren't able to do it. We weren't able to find any of the
Who are they trying to break down? Rodon and
Maybe
Sanchez.
that's why you know what I mean? Son, I felt like when he moved that wide, actually, he was getting a bit more joy. But in the central areas, there was no space for him whatsoever. Whenever he picked up the ball, he was just getting marked
He looked
out
like the
game.
only one that was able to make anything happen yesterday, if anything was going to happen.
Yeah, but he was apart from the wide areas, he couldn't find any space. That was a big problem. And then I think we have a big issue with midfield because you saw the quality Eriksen brings yesterday. It was on display yesterday for all to see. Long range passing, short range passing, setting the tone of the game, knowing when to quicken up the pace of the pass or when to slow things down.
Yeah, dictating the tempo.
Finding space in deep and even having a couple of shots on goal from the edge of the box and things like that. We simply do not have a player like that. And we've said that from the beginning of the season. Bentancur and Højbjerg are good at what they
since
do.
he's left.
They're good at what they do, Højbjerg and Bentancur, but they're not players who are gonna dictate a game on the ball. They're simply not as good as Bentancur is on the ball. I think he's got good composure and a good passing range. He's not at anywhere near someone like Eriksen's level at dictating a game. Doesn't have that in him to do that. He's more of a defensive midfielder who's good on the ball rather than a player who can actually, like Eriksen, like who's elite at dictating a game. You know what I mean? Getting on the ball and having a vision of the whole pitch. There's one thing playing a few good passes during a game like Bentancur can do, and there's one thing doing it 10, 20 times during a game. And that's what someone like Eriksen brings. That's why I'm so in favour of bringing him back, because there's games like yesterday where we need someone to get on the ball and actually take some initiative from going forward and have some quality as well and have literally a pinpoint delivery every time he delivers it. We don't have that, and that definitely stifles us when we're sitting low blocks, and also when teams are pressing us. We have no one to pass it to when we're trying to play out, and no real quality when we're going forward. It feels like we're too easy to play against when everyone's behind us, and we're playing everything in front of Brentford. We're way too easy to play against. We're way too predictable. And when Kane again for the second game in a row, this must be an instruction from Conte, but for the second game in a row, Kane again was not dropping back. He was stuck up the pitch and being that focal point for us. When he's not dropping back and adding creativity to the team, there just simply isn't any.
But surely,
it's there for all to see.
But surely Conte's got to realise that, see that on the pitch, see what's going on, and then give him the instruction to go and drop deep, go and help out the midfield, go and create something for us. Because we look devoid of any sort of creation whatsoever. Why is there no instruction to Harry Kane saying, go and drop deep, go and get yourselves involved with the play, go and drag the defenders out, or go, you know what I mean? Go occupy some midfielders.
Difficult to know why.
It makes no sense to me.
He was doing it well before during the last few weeks. He's been doing it very well, and if for some reason there's been a switch for that. We all know that Conte before he joined was on that interview saying he wants Kane in the box. He thinks Kane is the elite number 9. That's where he's most dangerous. And maybe he feels like having Kane there is the best use of him, because if anything happens in and around the box and Kane's there, it's likely to go in. But unfortunately, it's not happening for him at the moment. And at least a few times, you'd think Kane would be dropping a bit deeper. It was interesting though. Looking at the pass map, it does say he was playing. Son was the furthest man forward, and Kane was a bit deeper. But it didn't seem like that during the game. He wasn't picking the ball up at all. Maybe it's just maybe teams are getting wise to it, and they're making sure that Kane doesn't receive any service whatsoever, and that's stifling him. It does seem like over the past 2 games, whenever the ball goes to Kane, he has about 3 men around him every time. And that's obviously makes it harder for him.
It stifled him.
Yeah, it's harder for him to shake off 3 men, when he's trying to make things happen. But we got to make that's where, beforehand, if Kane's being stifled, then you have other players to compensate. But when those players are Bentancur and Højbjerg, unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult for you to compensate for the quality Kane has on the ball. That's why we're so desperate for an elite creative midfielder. That's the main reason, because without Kane doing that creation and having that quality on the ball, it's very difficult for us to hurt the opposition, it seems. And that, I think, it proves in the pudding. Two games out without a shot on target, and we barely went close yesterday to scoring a goal.
We hardly laid a glove on them. Like our biggest chance of the game yesterday was that Kane, what was it? That weldy that he tried to do, that like bicycle kick right at the end.
And that was I don't even know. I haven't seen it back. I don't even know if that was close.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it looked fairly close from where we were, but I can't really.
It wasn't a great angle.
I didn't even watch any of the highlights yesterday.
The closest we probably went, I thought, was that moment where we had 3 shots blocked in the box. That's probably the best we came up with. That, to be fair, was actually a good play from Emerson because he got forward well and he actually picked out Kane in the box for once and we nearly scored from it. I did feel like in opening, say, 15, 20 minutes of the second half, we did quicken things up and it looked like we were trying to force the issue, but then we couldn't keep up. And ultimately, Brentford will probably feel a bit unlucky they didn't win. I don't think they did quite enough in open play to win the game. But they definitely, from set pieces, were a massive threat.
We knew coming into this game, right, that's where their biggest threat is going to lie, from set pieces. And we just, how many times did we just constantly giving them corners? In the first half, they must have had about 6 corners alone.
8. I think it was we had 3 and they had 8.
Well, there you go. You know what I mean? It's like even worse than I thought. It was just non-stop barrage of corners
and throws as well. Fellow just like giving freebies as well. We weren't even under that much pressure, and we're just giving them away for free, and giving them more chances to score. Now it's frustrating.
And Emerson Royale, I mean, that pass at the end, just before he goes off,
summed up his game.
Really did summed up his season. To be honest, I mean, absolutely shocking. I mean, your reaction to it said it all. To be honest,
I was furious.
You were absolutely furious, and got taken off, and rightly so. But at the end of the day, we don't have options and we don't have ways.
Doherty injured, that's it. We have to. It's either him or, we'll talk about this later. But put Kulusevski there. He said he can play there. I'm ready for it.
I think a lot of people are saying the same thing. I've seen a lot of tweets saying I'm ready for Kulusevski at right wing back now. First of all, how much stuff is Emerson doing defensively anyway? I don't even know how much he's doing. I mean, Romero backed up for him so much yesterday.
Seemed that way. So if he's not offering that much defensively, and he's obviously clearly nothing going forward, you might as well try Kulusevski there. Put Lucas or Bergwijn up front, and then all of a sudden we become a lot more unpredictable. All of a sudden we have another option there who can attack, and it might. You could stifle Kulusevski a bit, being a bit wider, because I think he likes it a bit more central, like he's been playing. But at the moment, I don't think we can persist with Emerson continuing playing in that role. He's just simply a liability on and off the ball. Like right now, he's costing us, and it was almost as if sometimes the whole team is only as good as its weakest player sometimes, because sometimes we're trying to build play from the back and then we give it to Emerson and he takes a loose touch and it's sloppy and he doesn't find the right pass and then either he goes backwards or he gives it away and you can't hang on to the ball. You never seem confident of keeping possession when the ball gets to Emerson. It almost seems like it's going to go for a throw or he's going to get tackled or something. You just don't seem confident with it.
The fact of the matter, right? If you've only got a couple of dangerous players on the team, it's very easy for a team that know how to defend to stifle them out of the game, and that's what teams are doing against us at the moment. They're putting 2 or 3 men around Kane. He's not getting the service to Heung-min Son.
He's not giving
no service to Kulusevski either. So all these 3 players are pretty much out of the game right now. So you're relying on the wing backs, and you're relying on players that we know can't do nothing.
Yeah,
and that's the facts of the matter.
And you're relying on Højbjerg and Bentancur to create as well.
Exactly, who are not creative players.
They're not. They're just not. As I say, like. For defensive midfielder or for the midfielders they are, I think they can do decent jobs in terms of creating a few chances, but you might get 1 or 2 chances created from them a game. You know what I mean? And if you don't take those chances, that's it. Those are all the only chances you're getting. Whereas if you had someone like Eriksen, he's literally a machine. He can pretty much create how many chances you want during the game, it almost seems. So you can create 4, 5, 6 chances a game. So when you have someone like Eriksen, if he does create a chance and you miss it, it doesn't feel like the end of the world. But I feel like when Højbjerg or Bentancur create something or get a shot off goal and then it doesn't go in, that's like, okay, that's the chance of the game.
All right, that's our chance for our next hour.
Exactly, and that's a worry. If they had someone next to them who can create, then all of a sudden they can look a lot better. But when you're relying on them to create, then it's a different story.
Yeah, it's so true. And when you're looking at the top 4 race now, obviously last weekend we can beat Brighton to go 6 points clear in the top four. Now we're 2 points behind Arsenal in fifth now.
Yep.
If Arsenal win their next two games, when we got Liverpool away after Leicester, it starts to look really difficult.
We're in trouble.
It starts to look really difficult, and you're looking at Arsenal's fixtures, and they got West Ham away next, which, on the face of it looks like a hard game, but they're in between their two biggest games of their history. I can't see West Ham getting anything out of that game. You're looking at the Leeds game, which, Leeds at home is usually going to be a home win for Arsenal. Then they play us, which, hopefully we can get 3 points in that game. And then they got Newcastle away. So those two games are like the opening for me, if we can, get 3 points this weekend.
But I think the problem is we're in big trouble now, because actually, in a weird way, if we would have got that point against Brighton, if we didn't concede in the last minute, our position wouldn't have been as bad as it is now, because if
we could have relied on a draw.
If Arsenal get 2 goals, if Arsenal get 2 wins in a row, that means we have to go to Anfield and win now to stay within 3 points of them. Going into North London derby. If we draw at Anfield, if we win against Leicester and draw at Anfield and Arsenal win their next 2, we're now 4 points behind.
Yeah.
And we can't overtake them with the North London derby. The only way we can is if we beat Liverpool. See, if we would have drawn to Brighton, we could have got a draw at Anfield and stayed within 3 points. And that's obviously, a draw is obviously a lot more likely than a win. And so that's a position you can say is a lot more tenable. But now having to go to Anfield and win, I mean, look, there's no given that they'll win the next 2, but it is likely.
But I guess something that is giving me a bit of confidence, looking at the last 2 Arsenal games, first of all, they've been super, super, super lucky in those last 2 games to get the points. I mean, I can't believe what I'm seeing. And I was saying to someone last night that only teams going against Tottenham in a race get this kind of luck.
It's incredible.
It's crazy. I mean, Leicester, when we were going up against Leicester, teams were rolling over for Leicester week in, week out. And it seems as though Arsenal were just getting this crazy, crazy luck in the last 2 games. First of all, how long can that last for? And second of all, Arsenal's defence looks more shaky than it ever has been this whole season, in my opinion.
And also, I think as well, especially against West Ham, I don't know against Leeds, but it's going to be different games. Against Chelsea and United, both dominated possession against Arsenal. I think United at one point had about 75% possession or something during the game. And they created a chance as well. They hit the bar, they hit the post, they missed a penalty.
Hit the woodwork 3 times.
Yeah, they had more than enough chances to go and win that game. So Arsenal have got a different, even though that West Ham are in the middle of a European semi-final, it's going to be a difficult game for them because of the way West Ham play. They're going to try and stifle Arsenal rather than try and attack them. So that's not going to be. It's not a given that they'll definitely win that game. The only problem is if Arsenal do go and get an early goal, then that's West Ham's plan out the window. But they are going to plan to stifle Arsenal. And then Leeds obviously in good form. So Arsenal, I don't think have been unbelievable past 2 games, even though they've got 2 big wins against 2, higher up in the table teams, Man United and Chelsea. Their performance-wise hasn't been brilliant. They've just got big slices of luck. Obviously, they got the 1-0 lead early. That's some of the sloppiest defending I've ever seen in my life from United for that opening goal. But the penalty was dubious. I think if there's no offside goal, that they don't give the penalty, because I think VAR has overturned other ones, which are more clear cut than that one they gave. Cedric should have been a clear penalty for me. That's a handball. He's
crawling. He's crawling, trying to block the ball.
Unbelievable. I couldn't believe that.
And what's his name? Peter Walton, whatever his name is, comes on the commentary and was like, "Oh, if he's falling and putting his arm there, protect his fall or something, it's not a handball."
Yeah.
But that's not what happened.
No.
That's not what happened. He fell and then he's literally crawling to try and block the ball.
He's trying to keep pace with Sancho. He's not trying to stay up. That's what he's doing. So the fact that he's trying to impede Sancho, and while trying to impede Sancho, he handles the ball. So for me, that's a clear penalty. Obviously, they got the penalty and then missed it, which was lucky enough. And I do believe the third goal for me was offside. I think Nketiah is blocking De Gea.
There's a clip of De Gea going like that.
He's looking both times. Don't look around Nketiah. The reason why apparently VAR judged that he wasn't looking through Nketiah, he was looking through Lindelof, even though Nketiah was standing behind Lindelof. So that didn't make sense to me at all. So I think that should have been disallowed for me. So you look, a number of things went in Arsenal's favour yesterday, incredibly, and they ended up with the win. But if they continue to play like that, I'm not sure if they're guaranteed to win the next two. The only thing is now, the only thing I'm worried about is the belief is now back with them, and their performance level might increase because of that. Because the momentum's a powerful thing, and it can definitely increase your performance. And if they up their level, they can definitely go and win at West Ham and Leeds. That's for sure. That's the worrying thing. So I would say, like for me, in terms of like percentage of finishing top four and things like that, I had it after the Villa Spurs game. And Arsenal lost before, I would say it was about 60% Spurs to get top four. Then after we lost to Brighton and they lost Southampton, even though we both lost, our percentage went down because we lost the chance to go 6 points clear and they still had a game in hand. So I would say it went down to like 58%. After they after they beat Chelsea in midweek, I would say it went to about 52% Tottenham, 48% Arsenal. And now, after this week, I think it's about 55% Arsenal now, unfortunately.
Yeah, maybe even a bit more, to be honest.
55. I'll say about 55.
But I would say that even if we go into that North London derby not 3 points behind them, there's still a chance in the last two games. They've got a hard game. Going away to Newcastle is not easy for anyone right now. The way they're playing, I mean, it's just crazy. In December, they were bottom with 7 points.
Yeah, now they're
ninth in the league. Unbelievable stuff from Newcastle and Eddie Howe. Unbelievable. And last game of the season, I know on the face of it, it doesn't seem hard, but it could be Everton scrapping for their lives. Yeah. But on the flip side of that, we got a Burnley side who are scrapping for their lives. And then we go away to Norwich, last game of the season, that will probably have nothing to play for. Mm-hmm. But we've been there before with teams that have nothing to play for against Newcastle when we lost 5-1.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be losing 5-1.
Well, you didn't think that then either.
No, but they had Rafa Benitez. It was a different case.
I'm not saying we're going to lose 5-1, but I'm saying you can't take your eye off the ball against these teams. It's no given win.
No, but I hope... I don't know. Do we hope Burnley are safe, or then that impacts the Everton game, or do we hope Burnley are still fighting to keep Everton fighting? I don't know what to hope. We just got to hope on ourselves.
We just got to We got to rely on ourselves, and we just got to hope that Arsenal do drop some points, because we are. Let's be honest, we're going to drop points at Liverpool away.
Yeah, at least next week we play Leicester, and then just after we play Leicester, West Ham play Arsenal. So, if we do win that game,
we go back into the top four.
Go back into the top four, and Arsenal can't draw; they have to win, because a draw we go above them on goal difference. So at least that does put a bit of pressure on them. So I think, look, step by step, just go and beat Leicester next week, and then see what happens with Arsenal away at West Ham, and who knows what can happen, because it's not beyond the realms of possibility that they drop points there, even though West Ham are playing European semi-final at home. A lot of their games I feel like have been away from home after European games like Brentford and stuff. West Ham at home is different kettle fish, and look, in terms of in the league, they're still fighting for a European spot in the league as well. So they're not just going to give Arsenal the win, but obviously they're going to be probably going to be tired from their midweek game. So it's going to be difficult, but it's not guaranteed that Arsenal win that game, especially with a bit of pressure on them as well after a win. So if we go beat Leicester, who knows what can happen.
Yeah, and we also got a bit of rub of the green this weekend, because Leicester also in between two big European semi-finals against Roma, and that's going to be very taxing games, isn't it?
We just make sure we get the job done. We get the job done, put some pressure on Arsenal. Look, it's only 2 points, and it can change very quickly. No one expected Arsenal to have lost 4 of those 5 games they did. No one expected for us to drop points in the 2 games we have. So it proves how unpredictable the Premier League is.
It's mad though when you look at how much of a bottle job Spurs and Arsenal are, both of them. As soon as Arsenal went into the ascendancy, Spurs trumped them. As soon as Spurs get in the ascendancy, they start losing games. So now Arsenal in the ascendancy, let's see how they react to it.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see, especially if we beat Leicester.
Yeah. But anyway, that is our match preview. That is our take on the top 4 race as well. Before we move on to Twitter React, there are a few super chats. Essa El Shamari saying, "Morning lads, do you think the top 4 is done?" Well, we just spoke about it, but no, we don't think it's done. Anton,
no, it's far from done.
It's far from done. I do think there's going to be more twists and turns left to go. Anton Jepson says, what signings do you think should be a priority in the summer? Well, it's very clear that a right wing back and a creative midfielder got to be the first two names on the list, and a left centre back.
Yeah, 100%. It's those are absolutely vital. We get those through the door as soon as possible. I think the wing backs is such a crucial thing, because if teams know that they can just rely on Tottenham going back out wide, and and Spurs won't be able to hurt them, then we'll just become so predictable and easy to play against. But as soon as we get a wing back who can dominate a wide area and take people on and actually look good in the final third, all of a sudden it's going to be different. It's going to be a different kettle of fish for a lot of teams.
Quickly on the Christian Eriksen point yesterday, obviously it was great to see him back. The fans in full voice yesterday supporting him. He came over to the Spurs fans afterwards, didn't even go over to the Brentford fans. He said in a post-match interview that he's still a Spurs fan. Do you think he's coming home? Seems like it, doesn't it?
Thomas Frank as well was talking about it after the game, and he was asked, do you believe Eriksen's going to be at Brentford next season? He said, look, I don't know where the future lies for Christian. I just hope he does whatever's best for him and best for his family, and I hope it's with us, but the decision lies with Christian. So from what I gather from that, he doesn't seem that confident that Eriksen's going to stay at Brentford next season, despite the fact they did give him that chance to reignite his career. So I do believe if the chance came to sign for Spurs again, especially if we're in Champions League football, I think he would definitely jump at the chance. But I hope so. I think we gave him a great reception yesterday. He seemed to appreciate it. He said he's still a Tottenham fan, didn't he, after the game? So let's just hope that he comes back and playing as well as he has been recently. And if he does, we're going to have a real player on our hands.
Yeah. All right.
For some reason it's not connecting again. Give me a sec.
Just before
1 sec.
the kind of the way we're going to structure the rest of the stream is we're going to go Twitter reacts, and then we're going to have you guys on to have your say. So the link is in the community section below. So if you want to have your say, do click that. We'll put you in the queue, and then you can come on and have your say. We're just having a few teething problems trying to get this Twitter reacts up, but we should be with you very, very soon, guys. But get in your questions in the comments, and we can have a little bit of a discussion about whatever you want to have a discussion about. But yesterday was definitely a blow. It was a blow. Not even mainly the result, but the way we kind of constructed us on the pitch. I mean, we're just so devoid of ideas. So devoid of ideas with the players that we have on the pitch. I mean, nothing coming through the middle, nothing coming through the wing backs. I mean, we're relying on Harry Kane, to come and drop deep, to come and create for us, but he's not doing that. He's getting manhandled out the game, 2 or 3 men on him at all times. And apart from that, we've got no other avenue of attack. No other avenue of attack, and it's just so frustrating. So frustrating. But yeah, I do think Eriksen would be a massive signing for us if we can get him in next season. Is it working?
It's not turning up now. Don't know why. We were connected a second ago, but all of a sudden it's just stopped. Give me a sec.
Well, look, I do think that the people saying that top four's done and it's over. I mean, same people were saying that about Spurs a week ago, 10 days ago, saying that, the top 4 race is over, Spurs have got it, it's done. I mean, if there's only 2 points in it and Arsenal are playing like they are, they're getting super, super lucky. If Arsenal's defence has looked as shaky as it has all season right now, I think there's chances there for teams against Arsenal. It's clear. It's clear as day that there are chances against teams, and you got teams need to put them away, and they need to stop being given gifts by the teams and by the referees as well. I just don't get some of the decisions that were made on that pitch yesterday for Arsenal. It just doesn't make sense to me.
No. And why Ronaldo didn't take the penalty.
Oh, and why Ronaldo didn't take the penalty. I mean, did you see that wink from the ref to Arteta after the game?
It doesn't look great, but I wouldn't read anything into it.
Patty Martinelli says Saka got injured yesterday, but he looked fine after the game, to be fair. I don't think there's going to be anything in that, to be honest. Still nothing.
For some reason, it's just disconnected and it won't show up now. Look, you never know with muscle injuries. They look innocuous at the time, then you do a scan and it's been pulled or something, and then you might be out for a couple of weeks.
Because he's
So
our main
Wednesday.
threat, massively.
Yeah, he was brilliant again yesterday, to be fair. Another very good game. But the defending for United, the first goal, was they put like an innocuous ball in the box, and it's just like everyone's throwing a lazy, like 3 players throw a lazy leg at it.
It seemed as though for that first 20 minutes in that game, any time Arsenal went forward, it looked like Man United would just collapse.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. But then they kind of, grew into the game, Man United, and I thought they deserved more out of that, and they were the better team on the day. I do believe that.
But to be fair, again, similar to to when Arsenal got the 3-2 on Wednesday, they defended well. As soon as they got the third, as soon as it went 3-1, it was game over.
Yeah.
They brought on Holding, shut it out, and to be fair, they didn't look like conceding after that.
But like from the moment the second half started, it looked like there was only one team that was going to score the next goal.
Yeah.
That's the facts
They
of the
were
matter.
kicking themselves. They didn't. Oh, here we are. One sec.
Look, I get what you're saying, Wolfswhite. He says now it's easy to say that CR7 didn't take the pen, but to be fair, Penaldo and Bruno have missed their pens this season. Easy to say in hindsight, anyone else, that guy who missed it. Yeah, look, you can say that all you want, but the facts of the matter is Ronaldo was the only player on that. Well, not the only player, but he looked like he wanted it yesterday, Cristiano Ronaldo. He looked like he was on it.
Bruno was awful.
Bruno, exactly. First of all, Bruno was awful. And when the penalty gets given, who do you want in a pressure situation? You want the best player in the world. You want Cristiano Ronaldo, not a player that's not playing well in Bruno Fernandes. And I said it. I said it as the exact time. I saw Bruno lining it up, and I was like, why the hell is Ronaldo not taking this? And that's not because I had him as star man in the Prem. That's because I knew Ronaldo was the one that was most likely to score. And that's it. I just don't get why he didn't take it.
Yeah. And what Tony Split says, top 4 races over for Man United and for West Ham. Probably. If West Ham win today, I mean, on however unlikely it is. Who
are they playing today?
They're playing Chelsea away. One sec. It's come up now, but now it's not connecting still.
Yeah, let's go to the callers and we'll see if we can get it fixed during that time. Then maybe we'll go on to Twitter Reacts after that. But let's start off with the first caller, and that is Mr. Brian Daigle. Let's get him on.
What's up, boys?
One sec, Brian.
Oh, dear.
It's amateur hour here in the studio.
And you know what? I just made sure as you were doing that, I was unmuted, so damn good. How are you, boys?
Yeah, not bad, mate.
Well, great. But
It was a struggle yesterday, mate. It was a struggle being in that stadium. But as always, at Tottenham away, you get to see some familiar faces, some good faces, and some friendly faces. So you're surrounded by some good people in that Tottenham away end. But a shame there was nothing good on that pitch yesterday. I mean, how did you assess that game yesterday?
Have you watched me on the fan show yesterday?
No, I refused to watch any Tottenham content after, even my own content after the game yesterday. I mean, I was just, I was watching a fight last night, to be honest, and I just enjoyed that.
Okay, I went a little bit nuclear on. Went a little bit nuclear on the show. I still haven't calmed down, and what more is there for me to say? What more is there for me to say?
Well, you've called in, Brian, so I hope.
Well, do you know what? Let's play a new game. Let's do what you do, one of your unpopular opinions. I want West Ham to win the Europa League.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because isn't it amazing?
I hope Cody Mack's not watching and clipping you.
I don't care. I'm going to say it on every channel. Do you know what? West Ham fans were in uproar. Absolute uproar. And you remember what they were doing to the owners at the ground, going over to the director's box, doing everything. What did they do? They backed the manager with the players that he wanted. How West Ham
Have they, though? Have they? I mean, would you be happy if we signed players of that similar ilk, Craig Dawson and people like that?
Mate, like we're all talking about getting in people that can do the job for Conte and saying it's not about the money, it's about what the manager wants and to get them playing to the style he wants, and that's what he's done. He's brought in players that he wanted, he could trust. Look at Souček and Soufal, not big money, players that they scouted, players that could do the job, players that have come in and worked as a team, worked as a unit, come in, and what are they doing now? They've made another push for top four, which they're going to fall short on. They're in the semi-final of a major European fight, of a European runner, and they're going places because they backed the manager. And maybe then, and only then, if they win something, Spurs fans will go in uproar and think, "Oh, this is unacceptable," and do something about it. And I think someone's got YouTube on in the background. Still, turn the YouTube off.
I'm not sure if they really have backed the manager to the extent that we need the manager backing. I mean, my uncle's a West Ham fan, season ticket holder, goes week in, week out. He hates the owners still, and he wants them out. And I think that a lot of West Ham fans still feel the same about the owners, because I don't even think they brought in that many in the summer. And I think that their squad is still fairly weak in terms of fighting on all fronts.
It may be weak, but look where they're going and look what they've done. They've listened to the manager and brought in players for that. We're all saying that we don't need the hundreds of millions. Conte doesn't spend hundreds of millions. He needs players that fit the system he wants to play. West Ham fans can't deny, and we can't deny, that they have done that. They wanted experience, like you said, Craig Dawson. They wanted someone experienced in the back line, brought him in. They wanted other players, they've brought them in, and they are now doing way above what they normally do. I guess there's still fans that may still want them out, like your uncle and other fans, but you don't hear the uproar at the stadium anymore, do you? You don't see the chaos erupting. They are behind the team. They are there.
I know they're in a Europa League semi-final, but if we were performing how they are in the league, would still be uproar, wouldn't we?
Mate, I will be, you know me, I will be in uproar until the day they go. I don't care if I'm 68 years old in a mobility scooter and having to drive down to Hotspur Way or Lily White House and do it. I will be doing it.
Brian, let me ask you this. Do you not think it's just a bit similar to when we got to the Champions League final, right, and we weren't performing in the league whatsoever? People were saying that our run in Europe is papering over the cracks.
It is, but West Ham aren't papering over the cracks, are they? Listen, we've gone back to, bringing it back to us, we've gone back to 2 games without a shot on target.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone to 2 games that everyone, apart from me about Brentford, I went for a thumping against Brighton, but I've been saying Brentford for weeks would be a draw. No shots on target, no creativity, as you said. I don't know why in games like this that we have to win, knowing Arsenal won. We play with two defensive midfielders when they were both obsolete yesterday. Literally bring on another attacker and go for it. We need the points on the board. What you said about Romero, I agree, but I think another player that deserves some credit yesterday was Ben Davies, who comes in for slack. I think the rest can hang their heads in shame. Ben Davies did well, Romero did well, and mate, I can only imagine what it was like for you guys. Only imagine what it was like for you guys. They're going to a brand new stadium. Obviously, that bit's always quite new and exciting and everything, but to see another performance like that, it's just shocking. Like I said, people work goddamn hard all these hours and work damn hard to go and enjoy and follow our beloved football team for this.
What's your solution, Brian? I mean, with the creativity in midfield, I mean, Kane's being stifled out of games, being marked 2-3 men. Kulusevski has looked toothless in the last couple of games. Son looks like the only one that can really, make anything happen, and he's not really making anything happen. What's the solution here? The wing back, we're being forced out wide. Our wing backs can't do anything. What would you do in our next game?
Well, the first thing, the wing backs were bought as right back and left back, apart from Sessegnon. So. Like I said, there's a lot of flack coming Emerson's way, and I am one of the biggest with him. But we've got to remember, he is not a right wing back. He is not a right wing back. He is a right back. He won't go to a back 4, which may suit having Reguilon and Emerson. I'm not saying it will make a huge impact, but it could certainly improve what they put into the game. Maybe go 4-2-3-1 or even 4-5-1. And get an extra midfielder in and put Bergwijn somewhere or Mora. There's no creativity. We need to find a creative spark somewhere. And if that means sacrificing this back 3, to try and attack, then we're going to have to do it. But we know Conte won't do it, and Conte has to have some kind of criticism. We can all laud him when he does brilliantly, and believe it. Don't get me wrong, I am pro Conte, and anyone that's saying get him out and get Poch back, you're absolutely deluded. You're absolutely living on cloud cuckoo land. But he's going to have to adapt. I don't think he has the players that he can trust to play like a 3-5-2, and obviously injuries haven't helped. But we need to find some creativity from somewhere, because Leicester is not going to be easy. Liverpool away is not going to be easy. And then obviously the filth. And we need wins, and we need them quick. Because if these next two games go our way, can you imagine, you'll be there, and so will Stel, and so will obviously 62,500 other people. Can you imagine if we don't get top four, and so Tottenham's day happens, and they get top four at our ground after winning the league at the old ground? Can you imagine? I mean, them finishing above us will be a nightmare anyway. But if that happens on that day, can you imagine?
There'll still be 2 games left to play after that, though.
Yeah, but if we lose these 2 games, against, let's say we don't pick up 6 points. If we don't pick up 6 points or 4, let's be realistic and say 4, Leicester and Liverpool. If no one thought they'd beat Man U and Chelsea, and obviously both teams were pathetic against them, but who's their next 2 games? Newcastle and...
No, their next 2 games are West Ham and Leeds.
So if they pick up 6 and we don't... It could be, on the flip side, it could be the other way. They could fuck up these 2 and we could win these 2. But we've gone from being where we could have been 6 points or 3 points clear if we picked up that win yesterday, to now being 2 points behind them.
Did you watch the last 2 Arsenal games?
The Chelsea game, yeah, I watched bits of it. Or I had it on in the background, so I had other things going on. And I woke up yesterday, because obviously it was the early game, so it was like 7:30 in the morning here. And I woke up just as Arsenal were taking their penalty. And then I watched the rest of the game. So why Ronaldo didn't take a penalty, I do not know.
So watching those 2 Arsenal games, do you think that they will go on a run from now until the end of the season and win the majority of their games?
I pray to God no. I seriously pray to God no.
But just on the eye test of what you saw, like, do you think they're playing well at the moment?
I think they're playing well. I think they're getting the rub of the green.
Yeah.
I think they're getting the complete rub of the green. And I'm still very, very dubious yesterday at how at the last minute the referee changed for us. It's very, very weird that all of a sudden that happens. But yeah, they're getting the rub of the green. I mean, Granit Xhaka, normally, who's got an okay long-range shot, scores an absolute cracker. Fernandes with his stupid hop, skip and jump penalty has to do that, and why Ronaldo didn't take it. I thought Ronaldo, for his goal that was disallowed, that was a lot closer than it looked for offside. They're just getting the rub of the green. They're just getting the rub of the green. We've got to sort of...
Were the lines not touching yesterday for that goal? For that offside goal, Ronaldo's offside goal?
That's what I thought.
Because the goal was disallowed last week. I can't remember which game it was. A goal was allowed, where a guy was clearly onside, but the lines were touching. I thought that was the rule.
Yep. Well, this offside rule, I mean, the people...
Was the lines touching or not yesterday?
Apparently not.
Well, you look at it, and match the...
It looked like it was.
Fernandes should have been sent off. So whoever's in VAR yesterday should not be allowed to do VAR again, because that was a blatant red card for Fernandes. He was way late in that tackle, but no, it's not a red card. The technology is there. The people running it don't have a goddamn clue.
Yeah.
Don't have a goddamn clue, and it's just a joke.
How were you impressed with Eriksen yesterday, Brian?
Do you know what? Listen, he came on, and you can see what he's done to that team. He's definitely added a huge change to their game. He looked. Do you know what the pleasing thing was? He looked like he was enjoying his football again. He looked happy. He was doing what we know that he can do. Thankfully, he didn't score or create an assist. But yeah, it was just so refreshing to see him back on a football pitch after everything that he's been through, and long may that continue. But yeah, you know what? I was more, as much as I was looking out for Eriksen, I was more checking out on us. And I mean, I'm going to say as well, Bentancur was non-existent again yesterday. Non-existent. Whether this is because he's still got his knock, because we have to play him because we don't have anyone else. because of lack of squad depth again. There's just too many players. That, as I said yesterday on your show, on Bob Spur, when we were Pete Poch, you had a Lloris, a David, a Rose, a Vertonghen. And by the way, happy birthday, Jan, my man.
Is it Jan's birthday today?
It's Super Jan's birthday, my man. So
he probably still gets in our team.
Oh, mate, he walks into it. But that whole back four, you could rely on Dembele, Wanyama, Ericsson, Kane, Son, Dele. You had 9 leaders. No, you probably had 11, but 9 players that you could go, right, if one of them are having an off day, the rest of the team will pick it up and deal with it. And I've got to say another thing, actually. Tottenham Hotspur, their Twitter page. First of all, I think it was we carry on pushing after the game. Not one word to say congratulations to Poch on winning his first title. And then obviously, I don't know, I've tweeted it today and loads of people have started doing it. People may be against me, against Stell, against Levy out people with how we feel about the board and what they're doing with the club. But have you seen the statement that's been released by Chitkin?
No.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
No, what does it say?
I'll read it to you 1 second. Because hopefully the people that won't listen about the football side of things will start listening from a compassion and a human part, because this guy does not care about a sodding thing. So I'm not going to say his surname. I'll let Stell say it when he comes on, because I'm the butcher of the Greek name. Alex runs Chicken in Tottenham High Road, which has been in his family since 1981, but is now slated for demolition under the regeneration scheme. He said, "We were told whatever happens, everything will be demolished," he said. "There is no compromise. I have lived in the area for over 40 years. My parents still live here and my sister still lives here. We were the local economy of this borough for so many years. Now, all of a sudden, we are not the local economy anymore." So all of that, all those buildings, all those families, all those houses of people that have lived there for years and years, been part of the Spurs heritage, been part of Spurs traditions when people go with their parents, their friends, whatever, have been there through thick and thin, decades before this parasite came in. Goodbye. See you later. Ta-da. But it's okay. It's okay. He can count more money that he can't invest into the squad. It's all good. This club is an absolute joke.
Yeah. Hard to disagree. But look, Brian, top 4 race, yes or no?
As I said, do you know what? And I said it on your show, I say it again. Don't know, don't give a fuck. And the reason I don't give a fuck is, we get to the Champions League, do I want to hear Tottenham get battered everywhere we go in German, French, Italian, Spanish and Dutch? No, I don't. Are we going to invest? No, we aren't. Are we going to get walloped? Yes, we are. But woohoo, we get top 4, it's a trophy. So I really remember what I was on your show and I said for ages and ages and ages and ages that nope, not going to happen. And then we got into that 4th spot and we started putting in those performances that really made me think. And I said, do you know what? Hands in the air, my mistake, I think we can do it. The second I changed these 2 performances.
Yeah.
So, don't know, don't give a fuck.
All right. That is Brian, everyone. Thank you for coming on, Brian. Get those fingers ready.
Mate, I'm getting a 6-pack. I'm getting a 6-pack. Mate. So, and as always, by the way, love everyone in the chat. Love you boys, as you know. Love everyone in the back end. And as always, Levy out.
Big up, Brian. We'll speak to you soon, mate. We'll speak to you soon. Next up, we've got Stelios, Tottenham away. How's it going, Stel?
Yeah, I'm alright. Got my apron on, doing the cooking for Easter today. Got the barbecue on. The sun's
Congratulations on Easter, by the way. Hope you're having a good day and good weekend, apart from Spurs. But didn't really...
Is your cooking better or worse than Paratici?
Well, has he cooked anything yet? Or have we tried any of his food? I don't know.
Still, on the game yesterday, I mean, didn't really quite work out the 5-2 that you were expecting. Not even a shot on target yesterday. Explain that to me. What happened on the pitch yesterday?
Well, first of all, my prediction I come under a lot of flack, and I kind of smile and laugh it off now. Whenever I say things that I believe are honest about the club, my thoughts on the fan base being the problem, for example, my thoughts on leaving ENIC alongside Brian, and my prediction that we won't get top 4. I've been saying it for months because we're bottle jobs. And even you, a couple of weeks ago, were texting me, Sim, Stell, get that Arsenal top ready. And I said, I don't know.
That was me.
Ben, you're right. It was Ben. It wasn't Sim. And I get a lot of flack when I say this stuff, right? The one time I thought, right, people getting pissed off with it. They don't want to hear my opinions. Fine. I'll come on and be positive. We're going to win 5-2. Don't worry. Look what happens. So there's no point me being positive to force being positive when deep down I probably just don't believe what I'm saying. I'm just trying to be that positive guy to fit in. And look where it gets me. We draw. And I should have just come on and said what I thought. Guys, I think we're going to drop points.
Well, we did. I did ask you when you gave that prediction, is that what you really believe? And you said, yes, that's what I genuinely believe is going to happen.
Yeah, I did. Because I got myself in that positive kind of let's hope, let's dream. And the reality is, it's bullshit. Let's have it right. Our squad is not compatible with the manager. Okay? This isn't just a player issue or a manager issue. This is a club level issue. What we're seeing here, guys, and this was my fear, and this is why I said I worry we won't get top 4, is that you can't have 12 managers in 21 years and expect each manager with their system to embed their philosophy, their way of playing with the players that they inherit. I'll give an example. Unai Emery is at Villarreal, and he's doing good stuff there. Look at the rejects he's dealing with, okay? Now, how is he turning them around? I'll tell you why. Because he's been there long enough to embed his way, and he's getting to use the players that he is happy working with. So why can't an elite manager like Conte do the same with these players? I'll tell you why. They're not compatible with his system. We won't really know what Conte's about at Tottenham unless he's here in 2.5, 3 years' time with his players. Then we can judge him. We can't judge him right now. He's trying to play a wing-back system that is his identity, it's his way. He hasn't got the wing-backs to do it. So I hear you guys saying, we lack that creative midfielder, we lack that Eriksen. I agree, but I also disagree. I agree because if Kane doesn't do it, there's no one else in the squad that can. But the biggest problem, without a doubt, and why we're drawing these games is because the system Conte plays, he simply does not have the key elements, the attacking wing-backs. He doesn't have them. So the whole system, if the other team sets up correctly, fails. And it happened again yesterday. What needs to happen next is, and I hate bringing them up because I hate them, but we've got to look at what happened to Arsenal. They went through a 3-game rut. Lose. We got the advantage. But Arteta had to do something, and he changed it. He put Xhaka back in the middle. He brought El Neni out from obscurity back into the mid to play next to Xhaka. He dropped his talisman, his main man, Lacazette, and now he's playing Eddie Nketiah. Nketiah doesn't hold up the ball like Lacazette. He's more of a poacher in the box player. So now Arsenal's gameplay.
Oh, Stell. Ropey internet. I felt like it was going to go. The picture was getting more grainy and grainy as we went. But
connecting again.
Yeah, try reconnect, Stell. We'll take you off. But we've got a super chat here from Dan Fries, member for 19 months. He says, as Skip injured, we don't have the depth to play teams with more in midfield. Also, our short goal kicks are too predictable and put us under pressure.
Yeah, I mean, it was annoying because we were going through a stage where the short goal kicks were putting us under pressure, but we knew what we were doing with them, and we were able to play out. Maybe it was because Matt Doherty was there, and he was quite good at being in possession and stuff. But now it seems as though whenever we play it short, we're not able to build up any sort of patterns at the moment, and we got to put our finger on why that keeps happening.
Is Stell back in the back end? All right, so we'll bring on our next guest, Ben Wills. Ben, how you doing, buddy? Long time no speak.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. How are you guys?
Yeah, all good. I mean, you just come on in times of chaos. Obviously, Spurs last two wins, last two games, I should say. I wish they were last two wins. Just not good enough. No sort of creativity. I mean, what did you see on that pitch yesterday? Is there anything positive for you?
I wasn't able to watch it fully because I was doing some stuff out and about, but I was out on
Lucky you.
And looking at it as I could every time I could, and I was losing the will to live watching it. I was like, why am I still walking and watching on my hand? It was a bit depressing. Then I watched. I tried to rewatch bits that I didn't watch on the zone, and then as well I reviewed the highlights. The highlights were very, very short and
very
poor.
brief.
What was on the highlights? Just a few corners for Brentford. Was that the highlights?
There was one corner for Tottenham and one Harry Kane bicycle kick.
How close was that bicycle kick?
It wasn't super far off. It wasn't super far off, but I do feel like Harry Kane's technique for it, it's not him. It doesn't fit him. I don't think it wasn't even. I don't think it was even that powerful. To be honest, It wasn't awful, but it wasn't something you would say it's amazing. Well, if it would have gone in, everybody would have been cheering, obviously. But it wasn't that great, in my opinion.
Yeah, but look, after the two games in a row now, not a shot on target. After all the goals we were scoring, what's the problem at the moment? What's changed? Why are we struggling so much to all of a sudden get shots on target?
Well, I think Stell was onto that. I think the system that Antonio Conte plays is not fitting the players we have. But
we weren't saying that before the last two games, though, were we?
No. But so one thing I disagree with most of the things Stell says, but there's something. But that's tactically. There's different opinions in football. But the one thing that we would definitely
I feel a head-to-head coming on.
What we definitely agree on is that the quality of the squad isn't there. He believes we can't get top four. I still believe that even if we don't have the quality because of Antonio Conte, because he's a great manager, he should be able to get us to the top four. And I still hope we will get top four, because the one thing I won't lose with this club is hope. Because when you see what we did against Ajax and what we did against Leicester, the last dying minutes, we can always grab something. And that's the Tottenham way. Just make us suffer. And I do believe Stell was right with the system wasn't working for us. Attacking wise, our wing backs were not offering anything. We all agree on that. They weren't offering. Emerson, I still get messages from some of my Spanish friends when something goes on the headlines of Emerson's pass. And I still have Barcelona friends, since we signed him, they still laugh at me for supporting the signing of this player. And I don't. He's been crap. He's absolutely dreadful. Ryan Sessegnon, I think you made a good point, Ben, when saying he was trying to get past these players. He wasn't doing it. It wasn't great, but he was trying, which was fair enough. And when Antonio Conte said in his press conference that he wanted to balance out the team, I think we all are when he meant balance, he meant he knew where the weak areas were, Sessegnon and Emerson. So he took Sessegnon off. Why did he not put Reguilon? I don't know, but I think it's because Ben Davies, he has no quality. But in that game, I think he wanted to fight. He was annoyed that we weren't winning. He annoyed and stressed. He wanted to get the ball forward. So because he was running, he had a bit of passion. Even if he didn't have the quality, he said, "You go wing back, put Davison to balance it out." And Emerson is just, oh my god. The ironic area where he does a crucial mistake that just shows his quality, and then he gets taken off suddenly. It was it was meant to happen, that to tell us something. He's not good enough for the squad.
What do you do though from now until the end of the season with the wing back situation? Who do you play there?
There's many things you'd want to try, because something didn't work yesterday, and you'd have to change something to get a goal in the game of yesterday. And you'd think maybe having 3 in midfield. But then I would say we're not going to put Harry Winks. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. One thing I was even suggesting, like maybe just to try, see what happens. Drop Harry Kane into the midfield and put Dan Scarlett up front and see what happens, or Lucas Moura, Stephen Bergwijn. Yeah, I think Stephen Bergwijn should play on the right wing back. Why not?
Yeah, I don't think you can put Dane Scarlett in, but I think Bergwijn definitely could be a good shout there.
I really like. We haven't got any right wing backs. I really want to see maybe Stephen Bergwijn on the right. You know, it's something different has to happen on that right. We can't keep playing Emerson, and unless we put Joe Rodon at right wing back, it's.
Can you imagine that?
No chance.
I think Rodon would probably be worse than Emerson there.
Who else are we going to put in though? Unless we do what Sel was saying, that I completely agree, is that the system is not working for us, at least in those games, because of how the performances of some players, and we change the system. But Antonio Conte will not do that, and even if the fans will shout at him and bring a lot of criticism, he's not going to change, because he looks like a stubborn man. And not only that, but he knows that's the way he's perfected to play football. And we can't doubt it. At least we didn't lose. If we see a positive, we didn't lose. But it was a very disappointing performance.
How do you assess now the top 4 race? Because, you know, going 2 games ago, it was looking good for us. And all of a sudden, Arsenal beat Chelsea and Man United. And all of a sudden, doesn't look so rosy. What's your opinion?
We are going to get top 4.
Come on.
We are getting top bloody 4. We are getting top 4 for sure, mate. How are we going to do it? We're going to do it the Tottenham way. We're going to make this fans suffer. We're going to make the fans suffer to the limit. And that North London derby is going to be a key point. It's going to be a key moment. And but we're going to get top 4, guys. We have, and that's not only me being positive, it's being hopeful, but it's going to bloody happen. It has to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to get top 4. I'm not saying we have a top 4 quality squad. That's nowhere near. We haven't got that. But Antonio Conte is going to get us top 4. What happens after that? I'll come back on another call. Hopefully I'll have a bit more hope then to keep on going and pushing.
All right, big up, Ben. Thanks for coming on today, mate, and we'll speak to you soon.
Nice one, Ben.
Thank you, guys. Come on, you Spurs!
Come on! I'm loving that positivity and passion today. That's probably what we need, as a bit of a pick-me-up. Let's keep going. We got more guests in the... no more guests at the moment. I thought we had some waiting.
We have it back ready now,
Okay,
Twitter.
So let's go and see how Twitter reacted to the game yesterday. The sound again.
Give us a sec, guys. Now you have to mute the... You know how to do it.
All right, now let's go and see how Twitter reacted to the game yesterday.
All right, so first of all, we've got Nathan Clark saying, I'm ready for Kulusevski at right wing back. And to be honest, I'm ready for this as well. I think it could even be a case of going 3-5-2 and putting Kulusevski at wing back. I think
3-5-2.
I think that's something we can do.
What, put Winks in?
Yeah, because I feel like if you're playing 3-4-3 with Kulusevski at wing back, we might still be a bit too exposed, and maybe it might expose Kulusevski defensively. But if we play 3-5-2 with 3 midfielders there, I think that could be a good way to balance it out a bit.
So what you're saying is Lloris in goal, Kulu right wing back. Who's at left wing back?
Sessegnon
or Reggie. The back 3 is the back 3. Same as the middle 2, and then Kane and Son up top.
Well, with Winks there as well.
Yeah, a middle 3 with Winks, yeah.
Yeah, Winks there, and then Kane, Son, and Kulusevski. Yeah, and if both Kulusevski can be a de facto winger, despite playing 3-5, despite being right wing back, that could be something to make us a bit more unpredictable. Because at the moment, it could give us a bit more control midfield, may allow us a bit more build-up play, and hopefully we'll still maintain that threat. Because if Kulusevski plays high, we still have that threat of those 3 potentially.
I wouldn't be against that. I mean, it's got to a stage now where we have to try something different. We just have to.
And or even if we do play Kulusevski on the right and Lucas Moura up front as well, It might mean we throw a bit more caution to the wind in defensively, but it does give us more options offensively, and all of a sudden we might look a bit more threatening, and it might give defenses something more to think about.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I mean that's something I'm willing to try this one, because Emerson is just a liability.
Agreed.
And this next week proves it. This is a Premier League footballer. This is just before Emerson went off.
Oh, this is the pass, is it?
Just the simple pass, and he just can't play it. Like, it's unbelievable. Just look at that. That was the last thing. That was the last thing he did. Just straight out of play. So frustrating. These are the remaining fixtures now, with Arsenal having a 2-point lead. Obviously, Spurs got Leicester, Liverpool, Arsenal, Burnley, Norwich. Arsenal have West Ham lead, Spurs, Newcastle, and Everton. Look, it is on a knife edge. It's very tight. I think it is advantage Arsenal now, considering... I think if West Ham weren't in Europe, I would say it's a bit more balanced. But because they are, then it's so... And that's probably so much... Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm looking at the team West Ham are playing today. And if they play that team against Arsenal, you might as well give them 3 points now.
Really? Yeah. Who's in the team?
It's awful.
Really?
It's horrendous, yeah. So if they, to be honest, they are going to
They'll
play.
They'll probably play a worse team because they'll be in between the games.
And they might have injuries from the game on Thursday and whatever. But
we just got to hope they either get completely battered or completely batter.
Yeah,
Frankfurt.
Because I'm looking at the team West Ham are playing, and it's not good. It is not good. So if they
got a back three of Cresswell, Dawson, Johnson, Sufal, Souček, Noble, Masuaku, Fornals, Yarmolenko, and Benrahma.
It's not good. We'll see how they play against Chelsea, to be fair. The extra inch again says, I don't believe...
And obviously Chelsea go back to basics when they don't play Arsenal.
Of course they do. Back to the strong team. They say, I don't believe that any of our players, aside from our front three and, to be fair, maybe Romero, are capable of beating a man before playing a creative pass. So Conte's job is creating a system where they don't have to. We played in front of Brentford for the vast majority of the game. Normally we play sharp passes into the forwards who lay back to the midfield, and then we release the wing backs. Brentford stopped the ball into the forwards, so we built up in front of them, and they defended in numbers. One solution was Bergwijn to stretch them. Conte didn't try anything. Would add that as bad as Emerson fits into the system, not as bad a player, just bad system fit. I don't think Doherty being fit changes the last two results. I really think it's more tactical, and Conte needs to find a tactical solution.
Yeah, and you talk about world-class managers and good managers, and that's what Conte is. But surely, if he can see the players don't fit the system and the system isn't working in these games, you've got to mix it up. You can't keep trying the same thing that's not working. You have to mix it up.
Yeah.
You have to either go to a 4 at the back or go to a 3 in midfield. One or the two. You can't just keep... You know what I mean? It's the definition of insanity, isn't it? Trying the same things that don't work over and over again.
I don't think... Well, you could argue Conte's insane, but for other reasons. But look, at the end of the day, it is 2 games. So maybe in the 3rd game, he'll change it. You know what I mean? That's the reality. Because it was working before, and we were scoring lots of goals. But all of a sudden...
we got found out.
It's now all changed, and teams are more wise to how we play, so we've got to think of more solutions. They also had an absolutely infuriating match. Understand Conte is hamstrung by wing-back options, but that was crying out for a change in system. Maybe Bergwijn on to stretch defence, and he left it so late to change anything. Statman Dave says Christian Eriksen created more chances in the first half than the entire Tottenham team. A familiar face, and I said Eriksen I thought was really good yesterday.
Brilliant.
And if you put him on our team, I reckon we probably win the game. Yesterday he was that good. Duncan Alexander tweets out, there's been 18 occasions of a team not having a shot on target in the Premier League this season. 4 of them have been
unbelievable.
There you go. There's something we need to improve. 2 under Nuno and 2 under Conte now. Opta Jose, after 14 consecutive halves of Premier League football, after scoring in 14 consecutive halves of Premier League football, between 4-0 wins against Leeds and Aston Villa, Spurs have now failed to even register a single shot on target in the last 4 halves against Brighton and Brentford. Blip. I didn't realise we'd scored in 14 consecutive halves before then.
Yeah, neither did
impressive.
I. Yeah, it is impressive.
But not the last 2 though. 4 halves in a row now with no shots on target.
The last 2 games, if you were watching that game and didn't know who our manager was, you'd probably think it was Nuno.
Yeah.
the way we're creating at the moment.
Yeah, these are Nuno type performances, 100%. These are the kind of performances that got him sacked. Nels Ahmed says, some justified criticism of Conte, others exaggerated. One criticism I'll give is this. Against Liverpool, we played so well in a 3-5-2. It allowed us to create dangerous chances every time we progressed the ball up the pitch. Now we can't, because we don't have the personnel. We shifted players who were instrumental to that result and didn't replace them in the window. Now we have one way of playing, which teams have found a way to combat and nullify. We didn't go to a plan B yesterday, not because we didn't want to, but simply because he couldn't.
The thing is, he can go to a 3 in midfield and play Harry Winks. I know it's not what people want to hear. And, to think about Harry Winks being the saviour of this team from now to the end of the season, I can't really agree with that. But you've got to try different systems and you've got to try different things and see what works, because obviously what we're doing right now is not working. And Winks played in that game, didn't he? The Liverpool game.
Him and Ndombele and Dele.
Dele were in the middle three and we sold 2 of them.
Because... would that system work as well with Højbjerg, Bentancur and Winks? I don't know, because a lot of the problem's still there in terms of creating. They're not the most creative players. At least he had Ndombele and Dele with him in that game, and Ndombele, got an assist, and Dele was, making some really good runs. Could Højbjerg and Bentancur do that role? I don't know.
Well, I mean, if it's not working anyway, maybe not start with it, but at least if it's not working in a game, make a tactical change throughout the game. Bring on Winks, take off someone, and put a 3-man in midfield.
Yeah.
Or even drop Kane into midfield.
Something. We'll put Kulusevski in the number 10 or something.
Yeah.
Cody Mack has tagged us in a tweet, so might as well look at it. I don't want to play with you anymore. Yeah, that's definitely how a lot of that. Because he has an Emerson shirt, doesn't he? Cody Mack, dearie me, he's probably regretting that right now.
I think he got it because of a bet or something.
Oh, did he? Is that right? Brilliant stuff. We can look at Reddit as well. Let's go look at Reddit 1 second. Oh no, I've got where is it? Saved. So this one. Spurs with Matt Doherty, Spurs without Matt Doherty. Well, that's quite funny.
Dohertinho.
I know there was an interesting tweet I saw as well yesterday. I didn't like it for some reason, but has Doherty out the team? Is that hurting Kulu as well? Do you think? Because they had such a good link up, didn't they?
Yeah, it's true.
And he hasn't quite got involved in the games, has he, Kulu, since then?
It could very well be. It's mad to think just taking Matt Doherty out of the team has caused us all these problems. It's mad to think that, but I don't know if it is as simple as that.
I don't think it's just I don't think the team performance, but in terms of how Kulu's been impacting games, they did genuinely have a very good link up.
They did, yeah. They did.
Passing and moving and stuff like that. Emerson and Kulusevski can't seem to have that same impact.
It seemed like Emerson had the best link up with Lucas when he first came. They seemed to link up pretty well when he first came. I don't know if he's still got a good link up play with him, but maybe we need to try Kulu at right wing back, Lucas or Bergwijn on the right wing, something like that.
Congrats on Pochettino winning his first league title with PSG.
I heard Poch got booed yesterday by PSG fans.
He did. They read out his name before the game and they booed him, and then they cheered all the players.
That's ridiculous. On the day they win the league.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
It was winnable, yeah. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't know why they hate him so much, but it doesn't sound like a situation that's tenable, to be honest. Here was it. Has Doherty injury affected Kulusevski? Feel like Emerson, being the garbage footballer he is, has made teams double team Kulusevski, which has affected him having a say in games now.
Yeah, and he's our only competent wing-back at the moment. Well, not at the moment because he's injured, but he's our only competent wing-back.
One of the replies says, yes, one thing that I did notice that Doherty liked to cut inside to his left, leaving Decky to create the width out wide on the right. This created space for both players. This is not happening with the partnership with Royale. In fact, it's the opposite. Royale stays wide to create the width, but the opposition leaves Royale unmarked out wide and doubles down on Decky to crowd him out to reduce his effectiveness and versatility. And that's true because Doherty used to, how many times did we say he used to find himself in the penalty area and getting involved in central areas like against Everton, getting those assists and stuff. But Emerson just has one way. Stays out wide, doesn't beat a man, Doesn't have the link-up play, and that definitely must hurt Kulusevski.
He just doesn't have anything going forward in his locker whatsoever.
Yeah. One other guy says, this is one of the reasons I'm surprised we're not seeing either Kulusevski move to wing-back with Bergwijn coming in on the right, or Lucas as a wing-back. Lucas rarely stays wide and drifts inside all the time, so you'd think it would solve this issue. It's not like Emerson contributes that much defensively either. Romero covers that space well. And I agree. I agree with that as well. This is the pass map yesterday. Most passes was Højbjerg. Most XG chain was Højbjerg. Most progressive passes was Højbjerg. Most progressive passes received was Davis, and most centrally was Son. But look at Kane there. You would think, judging by
I can't see which one's showing.
Kane is right there in the centre, right next to Højbjerg and Bentancur. Like, you can't really see him. He's right there.
It really didn't seem like that when we were watching the game. It seemed like he was like tucked up top the whole time, waiting for the ball with 3 men on him the whole time. And I do agree. I think Højbjerg did play well yesterday. He was trying to play well and trying to make stuff happen, but it seemed like he was trying to do everything on his own at some points.
Again, Kane, but it seems like Højbjerg, Bentancur and Kane are just covering the same spaces. There's not enough variation there. Bit difficult.
Agreed.
But yes, Sessegnon and Emerson were pretty similar, but it's very frustrating. But yeah, that's it really.
All right. So that is how Twitter and Reddit reacted to the games yesterday. Is there any more guests? No. All right. So that is going to be it from us today. We'll be back with player ratings and the 5 takeaways. So stay tuned for all the content coming your way today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.